One of the important parts of creating a mosaic is the grouting. It helps bring the piece together. Well, in this video, I'm going to show you a new product that's just been released by LItokol, and it's going to take grouting to the next level. So let's get into it. Now I've almost completed this mosaic. All I need to do now is just grout it. So I thought I'd take this opportunity to actually use a new product that's just been released into the marketplace by LItokol called Style Tech. Now this grout is a very smooth grout and you can use it in grout lines up to 20 millimeters. It also has very low VOCs, which is important for the user. Now I'll talk more about this grout a little later in the video. Now if you'd like to purchase this grout came from Mosaic, and I'll put their website down the bottom of the screen here in case you'd like to go to their website and purchase some. Now for those people just wanting a bit of information about this mosaic I created, I used broken crockery, I used ceramic hearts that I made, and I also used tile. Now for the backer, I used a tile for that as well. Now I'll put 2 holes in the top here so I can hang the piece. Now if you're interested in knowing why I use this tile and also about putting the 2 holes in the top, I'll put a link to a video that I created up the top here and you can go to that and have a look. Now for the adhesive, I used thin set. Now for those people in Australia, thin set is American terminology for a cement-based adhesive. So don't go into your local retailer asking for thin set, ask for a cement-based adhesive. Anyway, I'll clear this area and then we'll apply the grout to this mosaic and see how we go. Well, I'm ready to go. I've got my grout here that I've mixed up and I'm just letting that slake for 3 minutes and then I'm going to give it another stir. I've got my bucket of clean water here with a sponge in and then I'll just apply the grout. Now, just before I proceed, I just want to point out that like any product that you're looking at using, make sure that you read the manufacturer's safety data sheets and also the technical data sheets because they have all the necessary information in to make sure that any product you buy, it's going to be suitable for the job you're going to be using it on. Okay, let's give this another quick stir because it has been slaking for 3 minutes. And then we'll apply it. And I like to use my hands when I do this, although I do use a paintbrush as well. This has got quite a few raised bits in it, so the tessera is not at the same level, but that's okay, you just go slow. And I've got too much on there, I think, so I'll take some of that off. So we'll just go over the whole complete area. I would expect my gloves to actually rip because, like I say, this tessera is not the same level. It's all different heights, but that's okay. When you're grouting different heights of tessera, you just take a little bit more time. And we've got to remember that we need to, those holes where I'm going to hang this piece from, we need to clear those as well. So I'll do that afterwards. Now I have a 50-minute work time. And of course that's dependent on the temperature that you're working in. So just keep that in mind. And it's fairly warm here today too. It's in the 30s. So although I'm in the studio, it is starting to warm up. So you need to take that into consideration when you're grouting as well. Don't do it on a hot day, but it's not hot in here, but it's just warming up. So I want to get this done this morning. Okay, so we'll leave that now and then we'll come back. Depending on the temperature that's inside, you leave it for around about 15 to 30 minutes. The manual says, or the directions say, but I'm going to leave this for probably around the 15 to 20 minute mark, probably around 15 minutes because it is reasonably warm outside and it's warming up in here, so I won't leave it too long. All right, so we'll return and we'll wipe it off very shortly. Okay, it's been about 15 minutes and I'm going to go in now with a very wrung out damp sponge and I'll remove the excess grout. You've got to keep turning that sponge over. I'll just move that a bit closer. It's looking good. Okay, now I'm going to go in now with a rag, fairly clean rag, just wipe it over. And this is where you can also clean up, oh, that's looking really good. This is where you can also clean up those grout lines so as you have really nice grout lines. So we'll go in there with a little, oh, and I've had to put new gloves on because it wasn't because my gloves ripped on this piece, it was because I touched a piece of wood and it put a hole in it. So there you go. The tessera that's on this is uneven, but my gloves actually got a hole in them on a piece of wood. I mean, go figure. Okay, so we're just going to go in here, just clean up those areas. And I really like doing this. I really like getting there and cleaning up the grout lines because it really does make the piece look so much better than if you just leave them. So it's kind of like attention to detail. But I must say, I'm really enjoying this grout. And these hearts are quite textured as well. So, it comes off those very, very easily. All those areas there. So I'm just doing a final check to make sure that yep, that's good. Haven't left anything. Because when you photograph these things, this is where it shows up every single thing that is wrong with the mosaic, as in if you haven't cleaned it properly or you haven't got the grout lines really nice looking. This is where the photograph can really show that up. So I like to really get in there and clean up those lines. And also, I don't have to be too worried about the tessera being a little bit wide because this grout does up to 20 mil, which is totally amazing. Okay, that's looking really good. What I'm going to do now is just leave that for a little while and then I'll come back and just do a final check and a final clean. And we'll also come back and have a look at discussing the grout as well. Okay, now just a quick buff. And look at that tessera shine. Really, really nice. Really good. And I've also actually cleaned up the back. Probably a bit more needs to be done there. There you go. And the sides as well. So that's looking really good. And there we have it. Now, there is some, I'll just get my little tool here. There is some gold here. You know how they have it on the crockery. And I want to see how this grout would go and see if it took that off. And I don't know whether you'll be able to see that, but where are we? Just in there, you can see that actually has worked beautifully. So it actually, the grout has not removed that at all, which means that if you're using crockery and you've got, that gold or that silver rimming around it, then this grout should be really good for that because it actually has worked extremely well there and hasn't taken any of it off. Okay, let's now have a look and discuss more about this grout and the properties of it. Well, I have to say, I really enjoyed using the LItokol Style Grout Tech. It was a real pleasure. It worked into the grout lines easy, it removed from the surface of the tessera easy, and I just found it a real pleasure to work with. And I was really concerned about the gold on this tessera here. How would it go with this grout? You know when you buy crockery and it's got a gold rim around it or it's got a silver rim around it, and you're always thinking, Is my grout going to take that off when I'm grouting? Well, in this particular instance, this gold is still intact, so that's really good to know. Now, this Style Grout Tech has a slaking time of 3 minutes. It can go into grout lines up to 20 millimeters, very low VOCs, it's very smooth, it's easy to clean off, there's no efflorescence, it quickly develops a high mechanical strength, it's resistant to mold, it has a 3-year shelf life, it's suitable for pools and fountains, and what I really like about it is it has a 50-minute working time at a temperature of around about the 22 to 23 Celsius. So if you have a fairly large project to do, then that gives you quite a lot of working time. So anyway, I hope you've taken something from this video. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have any comments, put them down in the bottom of the comments section on the YouTube channel. And let me know what you think of my mosaic piece that I just finished. And I hope to see you in the next video. Enjoy.